Welcome back, student artist. So last week we were finishing up our beautiful bowls in the style of Dale Chihuly. And this week we are going to do that as well, but if you're done, we are going to focus on our placemats for underneath our bowls. So in my case, I'm still needing to paint some of the areas of my placemat. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to finish up the space with the green, and I'll go on to another one of my spaces with another paint color. And in between paint colors, I will take my brush and rinse it out in the bottom of a half a cup of water and then dry it with a paper towel. And that will make my paintbrush nice and clean and ready to paint with a new color. So please take care of doing that in between each of your colors. So I'm not going to finish this up completely, but you will. You will make sure that you have all of your colors done. And then I'm going to start on my yarn. So if you remember the last time that we were together, we were taking our yarn and first using the hole punch to put a hole around the perimeter or the outside of our placemat. So I'm going to set that paint aside. I'm picking up my hole puncher. And now with a space of 3 fingers in between, I'm going to place my next hole. And I'll put an extra one on there as well. Then I take my yarn. I have a couple extra pieces of yarn. I will fold it in half, and the fold part, or the loop, I'm going to put in from the bottom of my placemat. And then the 2 extra pieces of yarn that are loose, which will end up being our fringe, I'm going to pull through gently. And now if you haven't unraveled your yarn to make fringe, we're going to do that. If you notice at the ends of each of the pieces of yarn, there are 3 separate pieces of yarn that are put together to make one. And that allows me to make some beautiful fringe. So I'm going to unravel each of the pieces of yarn all the way around my placemat. So I'm going to do that on this bluish green one, and I will keep going as I go around. Now if you're someone who has a bit of extra time, we can always add more fringe. So I'll poke another hole in between those 2 pieces. So instead I have them 1.5 fingers apart. So now I'm going to put my yarn through the bottom again, pulling it through, opening up the loop, and then putting the 2 pieces through the loop and gently pulling it tight. And I will make fringe out of that as well. When we have that all set all the way around our beautiful placemat for our Dale Chihuly style bowl, our last step is to make a name tag. Like always, we want to make sure that we have our name on our artwork so all of our friends and our family knows that it's our work of art. So I'm going to begin with my pencil, and I will draw each of my letters. So I have Ms. LaGrange. You are going to be using your first name for your name tag. And if there's someone else in the class with the same first name, add the initial for your last name as well. To make these letters special, we are going to add dots on the ends. So we are going to put a dot on each of the ends of the parts of the letters. So on my R, it's on the top, and the bottom on the N and the G, and the E as well. And to make sure people can see this and it's emphasized, I'm going to now trace with a black Sharpie. And you will find this over at the first grade spot with all of the other supplies that we used for art class. And that's really going to emphasize my name. You can see I have a Sharpie here. So I'm going to continue on with that, tracing each of the letters. So as well as adding your name with fancy letters, we are going to add 5 lines that we create on our own and invent. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and I will add my 5th line. And after adding those 5 lines with a black Sharpie, I am now going to use that same black Sharpie to add patterns and designs inside. And I have a special handout for you of different types of lines if you'd like to use to make these lines, or if you just want to invent on your own. So I'm going to do that within each of my spaces now in between these 5 lines. And the way that I'm going to be able to tell if I'm finished is I'm going to try the pinky test. So I'm going to use my pinky after I've finished adding designs to all of these. And if I have extra spaces that are pinky wide, I'll add more designs. You can tell I have a lot of work to do here. Have fun.